Hi, guys. Dana Haley here, Rich People's Business Podcast.
Reginald Ballard, a sidekick.
It's the main attraction.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're going to talk about fear.
I think fear and discipline goes hand in hand.
Yeah, it does. It does. And I think delving into this will catapult us into knocking those fears out when we get them.
Yes,
You know, because fear's going to come on us. No matter how strong we are, how brave and bold we live, it still happens. It happens. And so how to face these fears. And we'll talk about what types of fears there are.
That's right. Fear, to me, are those who are afraid but go anyway.
Brave.
That's courage.
So I want to first talk about, let's break into it. Let's just jump right in. Okay. So 10 types of fear. Fear of failure. So have you ever had fear of failure?
Yes. I mean, that's what make me not fail or not, well, I fail, but it makes me keep going. And if I had the fear and it paralyzed me, then I would be nobody.
Yeah.
You know, because before I go on stage, I don't care how many times an artist go on stage, you will have fear. But to me, fear is a feeling. Like you feel hot, you feel cold, you feel fear. Can't kill you.
It makes you stronger.
That's right. It's a feeling. That's all it is.
Yes. And I mean, and if you can overcome it and you get to the other side.
Oh yeah, man. You gotta take 7 breaths and push through to
Yes.
the other side, because fear can just paralyze a person and make you not want to leave the house, make you not want to get out the bed, make you just so afraid of that bully. You know, if you're afraid of that bully, 9 times out of 10, that bully is more afraid of you than you are him.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's a thing when we're younger. We have that we're more uninhibited.
Yes.
You know. So I have a favorite story with Reggie that I love to tell. Y'all will probably hear it 20 times through this podcast over the course. But I was staying with Reggie when I first moved out to LA, and he was on the Martin Show.
Oh.
And
Right.
and basically they told him, or his agent told him at the time, that he was going to be typecast if he went back to the show. So I came home one day and Reginald was like, I'm not going to be on the show. And I said, what you want to do? He was like, I want to be on the show. So I picked up the phone, called the show, and he's like, what are you doing? I called, asked for the executive producer. The executive producer got on the phone and I said, hi, I'm Dana Haley. I am now representing Reginald Ballard. Are we still open for negotiation for his contract? They said, yeah, the corporates are going to be there in an hour. Can we be there? I put on the only outfit that I thought was halfway appropriate. I was so young. The skirt was short. The outfit was not appropriate. I told Reggie on the way, you drive, I'm going to take notes. Tell me what you do want and you don't want in the contract. We got into the room and it was very intimidating, but I told Reginald, in the room, don't say anything. I'm the heavy, don't say anything. So Reginald is sitting there and I told them he wanted triple. He wanted triple the money that they were paying him, and whether he was there for 5 minutes or whatever, we walked out with more guaranteed episodes. We walked out with whether he was on them or not.
It was for the money, not typecast. Yeah, it was because it was the money. Yeah.
It was the money that was the issue, but the agent was trying to frame it because he wasn't getting what he needed to get.
Yeah, it worked.
So we walked out, and I did my talking, but all while I was there, because I was scared and he was scared.
Both of them.
We were both really scared. All I could see when I'm talking to the corporates, all I could see the network, all I could see was him twitching every time I would say something that was ridiculous.
Nah, I knew you had him when they kept looking at your legs. I said, oh, we got this. I don't care what she said. You could have said psycho. You could have said supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Whatever.
Whatever. They them legs and all that. I was like, I'm in now.
we came out winning.
Yeah, but
we came out winning. But it's
it worked out.
That fear, we were both fearful. We were both walking into the unknown.
That's right.
The adrenaline was pumping, but we did it.
And if we would have turned the car around, I probably wouldn't have been no such thing as Bruh Man again, huh?
No, not for that second season. And that's what we talk about. The next one is that fear of loss.
Yeah.
You know, it was like I was scared because I didn't want him to lose it because it was something that he wanted. So you have that fear of loss too, and
Yes,
that's
yes.
one of the second ones.
But sometimes fear of loss can, make you really get up on your horse. Because the fear of loss for me is like when I, as a comic, going on stage, I'm like, if I don't go on stage, we don't eat. Me and my family don't eat. That's food. We lost that. So it's like, okay, that fear, it makes you go out and do. And if I didn't have fear before I go on stage, I probably wouldn't be as good as I am, because I think that fear will make you have that tunnel vision that you need. So if you didn't,
Yeah.
it's like that care. If you didn't have the fear, it's almost like you're not really caring about what you're doing. So sometimes fear could be good.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
I always tell my mom, whenever she gives me my pep talks, but I tell her I do my best work when my back is against the wall.
Yes.
Because I come out swinging. I'm going to find a solution when there seems like there is not a solution, because I will not be denied. It's just how I operate. I remember back in the day, I used to book concerts for a lot of the schools, the colleges in my area, in my hometown. And there was one act that I could not get. And the college told me, well, if you can't get this one act for homecoming, then we don't want you back. So that paycheck was was the largest thing I had ever seen. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna make this happen. I did my research on the booking agent that would not take my calls. I was calling all day, all night, would not get him because he'd never heard of me. I was this young girl. So I got on an airplane. And I researched where the address was, rented a car, went to the office, and that was back in the day where you could just walk into the office.
Yes.
I went to the front desk. Hi, where is so and so's office? They were like, oh, it's right down the hall to the left. I got on the phone which was right next to the door, and said hi. His assistant knew me by voice at this point because she just kept telling me, hi, Dana, he's in a meeting. I walked in. She said, he's on the phone. I'll have him call you back. I said, that's okay. I'm right down the hall. I'll be right in. Hung up the phone and just jetted in. And she's standing in the hallways trying to tell him that I was coming in. And he was like, oh, how you doing? And so that worked out. I got the act cheaper than they were going for at the time. And I was able to book other concerts through him. So sometimes pushing through that fear,
you have to,
and just doing what you got to do, it leads to opening more doors.
Mm-hmm.
You meet people when you live bold.
You have to live bold, because if you don't, I have a story. I have a story.
Do tell.
That you have to have your union card, your SAG card, in order to, be an actor. And the only way you get your SAG card, you have to be in the movie, speak lines. And the only way to get in the movie, speak lines, you have to have your union card. So it's almost like a catch-22. So I was a stand-in for this actor that didn't show up. So I didn't know he wasn't going to show up, but I was just standing there with a movie called I Love You to Death, River Phoenix, Kevin Kline, and Tracy Ullman, never forget. And that was in '89, and I just had to stand up in the actor's place so the camera could focus on me, and then when they get ready to shoot, they'll bring the actor in, but the actor didn't show up. So I said, I'm just going to start talking. I was scared to death, but I said the only thing they could do is tell me to shut up or go home. They can't put their hands on me. As long as they can't put their hands on me, I can do anything. So I started talking, and Lawrence Kasdan, big Kasdan director, The Big Chill, and a lot of other movies, came over. They gave me a contract, signed the contract on the spot. That's how I got my union card. And years later, I was working on this movie called Class Act with Kid and Play.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Tommy Ford was on the show. Tommy was on the movie, too. I didn't even know Tommy at the time because that was before Martin. And we were talking, and Tommy said, yeah, man, I was doing this movie called I Love You to Death, but I didn't show up because I was doing Harlem Nights. I like, you the dude didn't show up? He the one didn't show up, and I got my car. But I was scared to death, had so much fear, but I was like, man, if I don't do this, this might not be, the chance might not happen again.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that chance. So sometimes you have to push through the fear, because that fear can stifle you, and it can make you not accomplish the things that you want to accomplish just because you didn't take that leap of faith.
Yes, and you know what's kind of crazy too, I have this story about my cousin who's no longer with us. His name is Sarge, but Sarge always wanted to be a comedian. So he had written this letter to Bill Cosby. And he said, we were backstage, and I went up to him. He said, Bill, I'm your biggest fan. I really want to do stand-up comedy. Here's my information. And, give him his little letter. He said, I was walking away, and I saw Bill Cosby throw my letter in the trash can. He said, so after I called him a few choice names, he said, I said, forget it.
Oh, wow.
And Sarge, for the rest of his life, Alonzo C. Sargent, for the rest of his life, rest in peace. He, he just was not trying to do much of anything that was his passion. His passion was comedy. And he was funny, but sometimes things happen and it stifles you.
Yeah, and that should drive you. That should drive you even further when somebody tell you no. That should make you like, oh yeah, I just can't wait to see them when I do make it. So I come back and say, see, this could have been, you could have been a part of this, but
but you
were a part
otherwise.
of this because that's what, even though you were a part of it, you was on the negative side of it, but I turned it into a positive, and you see, what you missed out on. So that's what I love to do. I remember cats in my hometown, you tell me, man, you can't be no actor, man. I'm like, okay. Shoot, I was in college. I told my friends, I said, I'm finna go to Hollywood, hang with Stallone. Them the next time you see me, I'm gonna be on TV. Left, first movie I did with Stallone. Next time they saw me, I was on the Martin Show. That's how it worked out. So, you put it out there and you take that leap, man. I mean, fear, like I said, it's nothing but a feeling. You feel hot, you feel cold, you feel fear. And it can't kill you.
You change
Got that from Remo Williams. The movie Remo Williams. He said, fear is fear. Fear is a feeling like you feel hot, you feel cold. Fear can't kill you.
That it cannot. And sometimes the third one, the fear of change, can actually be a good thing. Mm-hmm. If you take change and you make it work for your betterment. I love change because I think change keeps us evolving. That's kind of me saying, what I was talking about on one of our other podcasts. I have something in the room, and I want to throw it away, but it's become a part of the wall.
Yes,
it just sits there. So but that change, it's sitting in the middle of the on the wall is me not evolving.
Right.
It's me not decluttering. It's me not moving forward. The things that held us down sometimes. Our worst enemy.
Yes. If you feel change, I mean, it's like any business. You take you take Soul Train, the business Soul Train back in the day. Don Cornelius. At first they were saying, he didn't want to change. It's like then he had to start changing. It's like, hey man, you got to do this because the music is evolving. Miles Davis even knew that. Miles was like, you know what? I gotta regroup. Richard Pryor said the same thing. He said, man. When he went to Africa, man, he seen a whole nother perspective, about not using the N-word. And so he said, dude, I got to regroup my whole thing now, So sometimes when you scared to change and you don't want to stay stagnant, stagnant water is poisonous. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to change. I mean, fear can be good and it could be bad. It all depends on how you choose to use it.
Yeah, I agree. I love to change and evolve. Intimacy, sometimes people fear intimacy, being one-on-one. That's sometimes that imposter syndrome that I've spoken about before. Intimacy with one-on-one with a person in any type of capacity, but it's just engaging. Sometimes that's not comfortable for people.
Oh. You said intimacy and change. What like?
But no, change was 3.
Or something?
No, change was 3. Now we moved on to 4. Fear of intimacy, which is that one-on-one. Just really, really engaging with people is really hard for some people. I think you and I'm introvert, extrovert, so that can be difficult for me too because I think that goes into one of the other of the 10 is that fear of rejection. Being rejected.
I think as an entertainer, you have to love rejection. You have to love. I thrive on rejection.
Really?
Oh man, I used to love when I didn't get a part, and then I come back and get one even better. And I'll be like, yeah. So I love it. I live on it. I mean. There's so many parts that I could have had that I would have been a lot further along, but I did, But I get the other ones that were for me.
But see, you dedicated to the process, and you're very rational about the journey.
Oh yes.
That's a really big thing. Some people have a fear of being judged.
Yes.
And that happens a lot with actors.
Yes, that actors. the majority of actors are alcoholics and shy. I fall into the shy category, but I know I know how to play it off now. I'm a good actor at playing off my shyness. I'm a good actor as being a comedian.
Not a mask.
Yeah, I do, because I'm an actor acting like a comic. So I know how to do that. I know how to act like a comedian. And I look at comics on Def Jam. I say, you know what? So I mimic, but I have my own jokes, but I mimic what they do. So a lot of my friends, I use profanity on stage, but a lot of my friends in high school, all of my friends in high school, never heard me use profanity before, and they laugh when they come to my show because they say, "Dude, we never heard you cuss before, man. It's funny."
Just that alone is funny.
Yeah. So and that's just how it is. A lot of us are like they say, alcoholics. Actors are alcoholics and shy.
I never would have thought about that. Okay, fear of success. Do you fear success?
That's a lot of people that do. A lot of people. I was just talking to my mother, and my mother is getting ready to sell a house. My mother's house is paid for. She had 2 houses in the back of the house that they paid for. She want to sell them and move somewhere else. She could sell the houses and get the money to buy her another house outright. But she has so many excuses not to do it because this could happen, this could happen. That's fear of success. You already didn't succeed. You don't have no mortgage. It's like some people are scared to succeed. They scared to jump out and say, "Look, I'm finna make it." You know what I mean? It's like they are. And you have some actors and stuff in this game scared to succeed. They see the big picture, say, all I gotta do is go in and nail this here, and I got it. But they so afraid to go in there in front of the Stephen J. Cannells, in front of the the Spielbergs, and really show what they could do.
Yes. I want to give it all. Give it all to me. Give it all to me. I'll work for it, but just give it all to me.
Give it up.
Fear of the unknown. That's one of the other ones, just not knowing what's in front of you. But that's when you need to be brave the most. Fear of loneliness. I think that loneliness comes. I have a person that is always, do this business with me. Do this business. They don't want to do it alone. Right. The loneliness, but I think the loneliness goes back into the fear of not succeeding. Right. So the fears can couple up on you, double up, triple up on you, and then really keep you down. That fear of rejection, which I guess goes back with being judged, and then being rejected. So how is that for you? Just the rejection part. That's what fuels you too.
I love it. It's we all gonna have fear, man. Everybody. I don't care who you are in this life. You going to have fear of something. And the thing about it is how you handle that fear. Because, to me, as far as when it comes to athletics and entertainment, I believe we are the ones that have to be fearless. At the same time, you have to love rejection. And at the same time, you have to love being knocked on your butt because you like to get back up and prove somebody that, hey, I'm still bigger than that. I'm still better than that. I could do that.
You won't break me.
Yeah. So So rejection and all that kind of stuff, and hey, you have to embrace it. You have to embrace it. It's like, hey, that's what I got to do. It's like, man, I remember one time when I first started doing comedy, I bombed in front of Biggie. I was opening for Biggie, yo. And I went out there, man, and just ate a big old flat egg. But I was like, man, I slayed many lions before. So, sometimes, that bad fella gets you. And you have to just keep going. Biggie was like, yo, man. But he was cool. Biggie cool, man. He was cool.
He was probably laughing at the bomb. Man, he was like, hey.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, he's like, hey, it's all good. I know Biggie didn't want to go up to the top floor where his dressing room was, so he took mine. I said, Biggie, yours upstairs. No, man, I'm taking this right here.
He's like, so he might have had a fear of being on the 10th floor.
No, he had a fear of being tired and getting up there and probably stroking out or something.
No, I'm not doing that with you. Fear of not being good enough.
Now that's one that I think that I could really, I think anybody who's worth their salt have that type of fear. Because even though, I see myself sometime on TV, I was like, I could have did that better. Oh man, sometimes I don't even like looking at it because I'm like, man, could have did better. So you do have a fear of that because I think they fall in the category of being a perfectionist. You know, you want to be so perfect, and there's no such thing.
No.
Really, there's no such thing as being 100% perfect, because there's always going to be something that you could have done better.
You could have done differently. Or could have done better.
So that fear shouldn't even really come into your mind. Tell you the truth, because you know, you're gonna put if you have in your mind to put your best foot forward, to do your best that you can do, that's all you can do.
Yeah, it's so crazy. We recently had a big RFP, a proposal at Cetera Marketing, my company, and we worked on this for about 6 months. I will just say that it is with a notable tennis shoe. I will not say whom. I'm bound by silence. But we went through it all. We gave it our all. We did everything that we could do to win it. And I believe we came in very close. And it came down to something that was very minor at the end. But I was happy that we did it, and I felt like we won, even though they didn't choose us. I felt as though we won because we went through the process.
Yes.
You know, my team was disappointed, and I just felt I was happy to be done with it and know the outcome. But we took that information and we used it to win other bids. You know, and bids that I feel like would have been better for our company overall. And we're appreciated by the companies that utilize our service. Like you said, in your roles, you don't get certain roles, but you get roles that inevitably are better for you overall. Right. And I think that's what it is. It's not being sad or feeling down when you don't get what you want. So you can erase that fear, the fear of failure, because even when you do it, I know everybody says it. Oh, fear is when I do it, I still win. It is so true, though.
Yeah.
Because you learn from it.
Yes, and I'm gonna tell you, the worst thing that happened to me when sometimes you have this fear. Sometimes you go in and you get rejected. I don't care about being rejected if I'm not good enough. But one time I got rejected. I did this audition, and they told my agent, "We can't get him." He was like, "Why?" And they said he's too damn good, meaning that the lead actor wasn't going to be able to carry the show with me on there. So that's the only time I cried. Only time I ever cried for not getting the part, because how do you go from being too good? Where do you go from there? Being bad? So that really hurt me. But I got another part, and that other part I got picked up, and the one that they turned me down didn't get picked up.
Shut up.
They flew me to New York. We did the upfronts, man. It was called the show was called Crumbs with Jane Curtin and
I remember you really wanted that.
John Savage. Jane Curtin, my first on-screen kiss.
Really?
Saturday Night Live Conehead. Remember Jane Curtin?
Oh yeah.
That's my first.
That was your first on-screen kiss?
On-screen kiss, yeah.
Oh, I bet that was interesting.
Yeah, it was.
She didn't have the cone head on though.
Nah. But yeah, they told me I was 12, and I was like, really? And that hurt. That really hurt, because I started thinking like, okay, you work this hard to get where you want to be, and then somebody tell you you're too good. So how do you work less to be bad so that you could get a part?
Yeah, but you know what? If I think, again, I always say whatever energy we put out in the universe, whatever comes to you, you cannot be denied.
Yeah.
Whatever is for you. So that's why I try not to get, we might bid on 10 things a year. We might get one or two. But I would rather get the one or two that are for us.
That's right.
I remember there was this one and this is when I learned, there was this one bid we did. We spent months on it. We went up. And we met with the company. We did the presentation. We saw the other companies coming out, passing as we were leaving. One company won, and I ended up making friends with the guy that won it. And he said, "Woo, you better be glad you didn't win that one." And I mean, we cried over. My whole team, and that was the last one I cried for. He said they don't want to pay.
Exactly.
He just gave me the list of the drama and the things that he was going through on a daily basis, and the hemorrhaging to his team. And so if he wouldn't have shared that with me, I wouldn't have known. And it was like, okay, no longer, because sometimes everything that glitters is not gold.
That's right.
All money is not good money.
That's right. Sometimes it's pyrite, baby. Fool's gold.
Yeah, I don't want anything because that washes away.
Yes, yes.
I like the real deal. I want what's for me and only what's for me and my team.
Yeah.
In general. So
about.
thank you so much. Thank you so much. No more fear.
No fear, baby. But if you do have it, hey, it's how you deal with it that make you successful. Or it will stifle you if you let it.
Yeah. Be brave.
That's right.
Be disciplined, self-disciplined.
Have courage. Those who are afraid, but go anyway.
In the storm. No matter what. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
That's right. And TikTok.
At Rich People's Biz on TikTok. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate you. Till next time.